Welcome into this video here. Today we're going to talk about Wickfills. What are Wickfills? How can I use Wickfills? And how can you take advantage of Wickfills on the charts here? So basically this video is only about Wickfills. I will make another video about exhaustion wick that's coming out. But this is only focusing on the Wickfills on the charts. So what is a Wickfill? A Wickfill is basically just, let's say there's a healthy candle like this, closing right here, closing bullish in the chart, and let's say it's just closing like that. We have a wick here. So this wick is what we're focusing on right now. This candle is coming down. We're very healthy, just making a lower wick. We're coming up like this, and now we're breaking current high. So we're breaking current high on this one, and it's just filling the wick easily here. This is a wick fill. This is a wick to be filled. This candle here is doing a wick fill. So let me draw it like this here. So basically we're breaking current high, we're coming up here. So basically the green arrow here is pointing at the wick fill. This new candle here that came up and is the one filling the wick. So that one is the one filling the wick. The other one is the wick that was to be filled there. So basically that's the basic level of a wick fill here. There's a lot more to it, and you might think like, how can I take advantage of that? But let me say like this: there's a lot to it, so it can vary in a lot of different ways. But let me just draw an example here of a typical wick fill that we could see. So basically, we have like candles coming up here. We have a range like this, and we're just seeing candles just printing sideways up here. When we're seeing candles printing sideways up here, we can see almost that there's like a range going on, right? So we have a range here, and we won't really do anything until we're out of this range. So we're waiting for a closure either above or below this range here. Let's say that this candle here comes up and we close above now. And let's say that that candle here to the left has a wick like this. Wait, let me draw it a little smoother here. Let's say we have a wick like that to the left here. So we gotta have a target on the charts, and it's not always that you just have a clean resistance or anything like that. So basically all this would look like here as a breakout on, let's say, the 15-minute time frame here. Let's say this is the 15 here, 15 minute. And now we're looking at the 4-hour time frame and thinking, are we bullish here? Because then I want to take this 15 breakout. Now you're seeing that the 4-hour time frame is looking like this. Like this. We came up, we're breaking highs now, and we're about to re-break the 4-hour current high. The 4-hour current high right there is this one right there. So you see these two align here, and those are the wick. Those are the wick of the 4-hour time frame to get a 4-hour wick fill here. So the wick to be filled in this example here is this wick, which is this wick right here. This is very, very typical that you will see this on the charts. Very typical that you may need to look a little deeper, but you will always see that wick nearly almost when the fall looks like that. And that wick is to get filled. So let's say that there's like 40, 50 pips up until that wick filled there. We gotta need a bottom wick for that 15, and we could come up and tap that target. So we could have a target like right there. Now we filled the range. The wick represents a range too. Probably if you're driving down to the 5-minute, you'll see some structure that aligns with almost look like this on the 15 here. So it might just be range that we're just filling. It's a resistance like right here on the 5-minute here. So basically wicks is range. And basically wicks, what it is too, is I drew that basic example in the beginning there. We had a wick to the upside on the candle. So we gotta look for like this next candle coming up and filling that wick here, just as we've seen on the 4-hour time frame, and as we can see on the 15 time frame, the wick are just more to the left there. But what this wick represents, and what this wick represents, and what this wick represents, just basically wick fills in general, is basically just the previous candle leaving breadcrumbs for the next candle to just follow along. So basically what you'll see is when we have bullish candles and stuff like that, like a bullish, just bullish candle continuing up, continuing, then you'll see that it leaves breadcrumbs. It always leaves that healthy candle look where we have all those wicks to the upside and downside, and where we like leave in breadcrumbs right here for this candle to just follow along. This one here, the next one here. And that is basically the wick fill. So that is one way to take advantage of it. The other way is basically when that 4 looks like that. So let me remove some of this here. So let's say the 4 still looks like that here. Let's remove this example and let's get another example here. Basically, now in my previous videos, I put in somewhat of the same example here, but candles are moving down. We're still in an uptrend because the 4-hour time frame is still being bullish. So we're going up here, or we're going down, I mean, sorry. We're going down here. Let's say like this, and we were coming up like just before here. Yeah. So this one right here. Yeah. So when we see a new support on like a 15-30 minute time frame, and the 4-hour has just been moving up, right? So this is the 4-hour over to the right, and this is still like the 15-minute time frame here. When we see the 15 looking like that, and when we see the 4-hour time frame looking like that, and the 4-hour time frame is probably looking like, sorry, like this here, coming down. So basically right now it's bearish, but when we see a new support here, let's say that we also got a fake out or something like right here, like in that range right here. So we have a fake out here, we have a 15 fake out, and we have the 4-hour moving down, making a bottom wick, and we're expecting that after getting that support, we could begin to move up on the 15-minute time frame here. After we broke lows, we activated sellers here to break out the previous low of that one. We got a fake out, we got a new support, and we want to take bias of support, which we call an onion play. And that onion play is basically all it is. It's basically this 4-hour time frame moving back up after creating a low here to anticipate that the 4-hour time frame will come up and fill this wick here. And all that wick is basically this move right here. So all that, this wick here is basically this wick or this move right here. The bottom wick being created is basically the other one. So basically this one, this new candle here is basically this one. So I hope you can see like the structure of the whole like 15-minute, 30-minute, and the 4-hour time frame over to the right here. So the orange box represents the orange box over here to the right and left, and the purple box represent each other too. So that wick that was being left off of the 4-hour time frame was basically like the breadcrumbs the candle will leave in on the higher time frame for us to follow later on. So right now we could begin to see this candle begin to move up, retest that resistance. All that would look like, I've already showed you almost, but that would just be the 4-hour time frame have created that low and beginning to come up, fill this wick. That's how you can take advantage of it, of the higher time frame and the lower time frame. So you got to see a correlation. You got to have a story that you can tell between the time frames here. So it's really, really important that you lock in and really see like the anatomy, the structure of candles when they're moving like this, because it's almost moving in ranges and moving from range to range, and we're always getting that support or resistance. But it's so very important to understand ranges, understand where we are on the chart, and understand how the time frames move, like how the 4-hour move in correlation to the 15 or the 30. That's how we can take advantage of the move. That's how we can take advantage of the wick fills here. So that wick was being filled, and all it is on the 15 was a range fill here. So basically wick fills are range fills, and it is just the previous candle leaving breadcrumbs for us to follow. So the first example was a very great one. We'll see very often that you have a wick to the left somewhere somewhere pretty hidden sometimes, but you will always see that wick. And that's probably something that aligns with the higher time frame too. You can see it on other time frames. It's not only the 4-hour and 15-minute. It's almost all time frames too. So yeah, I think it is So important to understand wick fills, and it's very, very great to take advantage of those. And it's very, very understandable concept here if you just really focus on these concepts. So perfect example of an onion here slash fake out to follow along with the forward. Previous example was like a breakout to follow along with the forward too. So as I said before, you can see it on other time frames too, but those are the main ones. And those are what we typically see, especially in times of high volume. And yeah, it's just a great, great concept in general. So I hope that you gained some insight from this video here. There will be another video about exhaustion wicks, how we can take advantage of them, and how we know that it's an exhaustion wick and not just a wick fill. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Yeah, see ya.